Ready? Go!
Hey everyone, what's going on? It's the Pocket Moggers here. Hope you're doing well today. My video here is about the 10 stages I'd like to see in a new Super Smash Bros. Game. Super Smash Bros. Is a huge deal nowadays. It's got so many properties under the sun mixed in with it and so many different stages. There are over 100 of them now, which is absolutely crazy to me. I remember playing the first one back in 1999, and I could never have imagined that it would be as big as it is now. But with that being said, I do think there are some franchises that need more representation, and I personally would like to see more stages from franchises that don't have characters. So I've got a couple of ideas here for what I'd like to see, and how I'd like to see it be executed. If you're a fan of Smash Brothers, excuse me, and you like the video, feel free to leave a like and comment down below what stages you'd like to see, because I'd love to hear it. Down below here, you'll see I've got a link to where I found this wallpaper. I didn't see any credit for the wallpaper, just saw it itself. So I don't know who made it, unfortunately. Whomever you are, thank you. The wallpaper's awesome. I really appreciate it. It's super fitting for this video. So thanks very much. I do want to mention very quickly to all of you that there won't be annotations on this one, simply because the wallpaper doesn't leave me a lot of room for text on each slide, but I don't care. It's a great wallpaper, so I'm just not going to worry about it this time. I hope that doesn't put anybody out. That is not my intention. I'm not trying to just spite anybody or anything like that. It just, it just doesn't work out. So, with that out of the way, let's talk some Smash Bros. Stages, shall we? Number 10 is going to be Solar Eclipse from Super Street Fighter 4. It's a really, really, really cool level. There's a lot of fun use of light in the level, and the animals gathering together in the savannah on top of it just really adds a lot of majesty to the stage. I also like the Alina stage in Street Fighter 3, which its name I don't remember, but the very Lion King coded with the big giant sun in the back. That is also a really cool stage. Um, I just think that animals in general, and especially Africa and African themes, are missing from Smash Brothers in a lot of ways, and part of that is just where game development happens in the world, but another part of it is just there's just not a lot of that in Nintendo's library either, unfortunately. But there is room for some of that stuff to bleed into Smash Brothers, and I think this is the perfect vehicle for that. The only issue I have with this stage is I really just don't know what kind of obstacles it would have in the more casual, let's use items and go around dealing with the wacky stages gameplay that is core to Super Smash Brothers. The Final Destination people like me, we don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. But for the traditional stage elements, I just don't really know what to do here. I don't want the animals to be depicted as like monsters that just attack people, but they're kind of the only thing that could be used in that regard, unless we want to get real and have like poachers or something, it just seems a little too grim. So yeah, I guess it would have to be the animals. Maybe some other Street Fighter characters could come and do stuff, I don't know. That's where the big question mark on this stage comes up for me. But Solar Eclipse is my number 10 spot. Rich Island from Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii is number 9 for me. I have the opposite issue that I had with Solar Eclipse with Rich Island, where I have plenty of ideas for obstacles. There are different characters. Yakuza is such a fun, silly, and also surprisingly somber and real series. So there's a fun mix up there, and there's plenty of goofy stuff that could be thrown in as obstacles, enemies, workplace hazards, just so many things that could work in that. And the problem that I have with Rich Island is I don't know where to put it on Rich Island. I unfortunately have not finished Pirate Yakuza yet. This year has been absolutely crazy for me, and I have games from all the way back in November, October of last year that I'm still not done with. For example, Digimon Storytime Stranger. I'm still working on that. I just haven't had the time to game like I normally do. So I don't know everything about Rich Island because of that, and therefore I don't know what would be the prime place to put it. But I do think it's an excellent setting for everything, especially with the pirate motif helping keep the Smash Brothers series, quote, for good girls and boys, like Sakurai said. I just think that you could incorporate Yakuza this way and keep it as harmless as possible while still showing what makes Yakuza great. Right. But again, I just don't know specifically where on Rich Island to put it. Maybe we could do the Delfino Plaza thing where it just takes you around it, or Woohoo Island or Skyloft takes you around and shows you all the stuff. I don't know. That's probably what I'd settle for. What do you all think? If you finished Pirate Yakuza, could you tell me where you think would be best for a Smash Brothers game? My number 8 choice is the Pyramid of Power from The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, or Triforce of the Gods for those of us who lived in Japan or do live in Japan right now. And the Pyramid of Power is my personal favorite Ganon fortress, where he hides out and stuff. It's like this weird Mesoamerican early Egyptian temple that's built to him, and like the way that one builds temples for gods. It's got reliefs of him on the front. It's got different, well, like bad, holy, corrupt, demonic energy all around it. The prison for the fairies inside of it in order to keep their magic sealed away, right? I really think it's a cool setup. I like that you have to jump down in there in order to fight him. I think that might be a fun thing to do for the stage. Maybe you start fighting on the top of the pyramid, and then the big bomb drops on top of it and blows it up, and you sink down, something like that. I know that in the original version, um, Aghanim just crashes into the pyramid and brings it down when he's morphing into Ganon, right? But I think you could have some liberties with it, do something fun with it. Maybe have the fat fairy throw one of the big bombs at it or something. I don't know. Obstacles again, there's plenty to choose from here. You could have Ganon in the background doing some of his A Link to the Past spell, shooting the columns of fire. Maybe he turns invisible and hits the opponents. Something like that. We're clearly never going to get Ganon in Super Smash Brothers. Like, we have Ganondorf, quote unquote, but we don't even have Ganondorf. We have a guy who punches things. So I think this stage would be a good way to bring Ganon into the fold. Classic traditional pigman Ganon. Um, and I think Zelda is due for a stage, and that this is the great one to go for, because we have so many 3D Zelda games in their levels, and I think it's time for us to give the 2D games a little more representation. With that out of the way, what do you all think? Do you like the idea? Let me know below. So my number 7 pick is Stage 1 from Castlevania Rondo of Blood. If it has a name, I don't know it. I apologize to Castlevania heads. I'm not trying to be disrespectful here. I just don't know the name. Um, this level's awesome with Dracula's minions just going around burning everything down to the ground. It's horrific. But on the other hand, it's such a chaotic and frenetic like level that I think it's perfect for Super Smash Brothers. I know we already have, I think it's a Fire Emblem level where everything lights on fire. No offense to Fire Emblem fans, I don't care about the franchise at all. It never appealed to me, but I don't hate it. I just don't know anything about it. I do kind of wish it get out of Smash Brothers a little bit more than it does, but I don't hate it for it. I think that's a very ridiculous reaction to have towards a designer choosing games that he likes being put in his games. But I know that we have one of those levels. I'm pretty sure it's from Fire Emblem, but I think another Town on Fire levels will do, especially with people like Sephiroth hanging around. Who, I mean, he's tied to it. It's iconography for him walking around in the flames. And you've got Richter in here too, right? And so I think that'd be great. I also think it'd be a great opportunity to show more Castlevania enemies doing stuff, not necessarily bosses. I mean, you could, but enemies, common enemies and the like. I also well, the music's already in, but I would love to see another interpretation of the music for this level to be put in there. I think it'd be perfect. What do you think? So just like Thanos, Pokemon representation in Super Smash Brothers is inevitable. I do think that the Area Zero Underdepths from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet version make a good choice for this stage representation. I'm sure there will be a new monster in there too. I think Ceruledge would be a popular and I don't know, unique choice for that. I know, swords, but I mean, ghost swords, and they're actually his hands and stuff. It's a little more than that. Maybe Armor Rouge too. Maybe both, right? They both scream fighters in the Smash Brothers to me personally. Anyway, the Area Zero Underdepths has all the cool different crystals with different properties to them. There are all the Paradox Pokemon hanging around that could be the enemies. You could have Koraidon and Miraidon be the obstacles as well, or Terrapagos, or maybe all of them. It could be like Spear Pillar, right? Where Cresselia and Dialga and Palkia and Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf show up, right? We could have different ones of those different kinds of Pokemon doing things to the environment in some way, shape, or form. Heck, you could even do the AI Turo and Sada if you really want, and have them do something. Maybe the stage transitions into their laboratory with all the stuff going on in there, and then transfers all the way down to the actual Underdepths part where Terrapagos is. Maybe Scarlet and Violet characters are there, like Nimona or Penny or Arven. I don't know. There are a lot of choices there, but I do think this area is, especially by Pokemon standards, unique enough and visually appealing enough with enough ideas for hazards for the normal play for it to make a great Smash Brothers stage. What do you all think? Okay, so Katina is a planet in Star Fox. It has been featured in basically every game, I think. But I want the Star Fox Assault incarnation of Katina to be in Super Smash Brothers. There are a bunch of reasons for this. The first is I really like the vibe and the music and just the environment in the Assault multiplayer. I think it's perfect for Super Smash Brothers in that regard. Um, yeah, I've got it in my head right now. It's never gonna get out. I think it's perfect. I have since I played Assault on the GameCube with my brother. Gosh, back in 2005, 2006, something like that. The other is the obstacles are self-apparent. In Assault, the planet becomes overrun with aperoids, and the aperoids could be stage hazards that come at you. The turrets around the planet could be stage hazards. Maybe the aperoids crawl all over the place, and the self-defense turrets fire at you, assuming you are part of the aperoids, or the aperoids are there and they're just, scorched earth, just blow everything away. Smoked earth, jeez. Um, maybe you can climb up the different defense outposts and the different towers in order to change the view for the player. You can even take a little platform up in the sky again, like Delfino or something, and let them see some of the air fights that are going on. I just think it's perfect for that. I really think it's perfect for a post Star Fox 64 Star Fox representation. We need a lot more of that. I think characters like Panther and Slippy's dad and his sister, and maybe you could throw Crystal in on the stage too. Basically, just stuff that shows, hey, Star Fox had life outside of 64. I think it's important for people to know that. I'm very excited for the 64 remake, but just because I'm excited for the remake doesn't mean I'm blind to the fact, excuse me, I'm so sorry, that Star Fox has a momentum problem. It gets off the ground and then it just stops and it just sinks back down to the ground again. And the ball needs to get moving. You know what I mean? I think it can. I think it would be very easy for it to. And I think showing the players more of the world outside of Star Fox in Super Smash Bros. Is a great way to do that. Especially since Star Fox Assault was made with help from Bandai Namco Games, who make Super Smash Bros., right? I think they were still Namco at the time. But the point stands that these two work together on this game. It's perfect. So we're going to the Mawkin throne room from Metroid Dread next, not the Moggin throne room. That's not my place of residence. I'm not here to brag or anything like that, but I'm just saying mine's better, right? See all those statues? Yeah, they're gold where I'm from. Anyway, point is, the Mawkin throne room is a really, really, really nice design. It's just alien enough to make things off, but not eerie. You know what I mean? You can definitely tell this wasn't built by humans, but it's got enough of what humans do that you also understand what it is. I think that Ravenbeak is a great villain. I do wish they fleshed him out a little more. Metroid has that problem in general, where villain characters just don't get as much as they need unless their name is Ridley or Dark Samus. Well, and Mother Brain too. But I do think that this could help him kind of climb up the ranks a little bit, become a little more popular. Maybe Ravenbeak could get some more love from this. I think it's well deserved. Personally, Metroid is my personal favorite Nintendo franchise, and I think that Ravenbeak would be a great Smash addition. But I don't know what you do to make him different enough from Samus to make it feel good. So I didn't throw him into my character choices for Smash Brothers for that reason, and instead opted to make his room one of the stages. I think that regular Ravenbeak could be one of the obstacles that just jumps around the room and shoots at you guys or something. And then maybe you could do a boss mode like some of the other stages have, where Raven gets infected by the X Parasite, and you have to fight the X Parasite version of him as one of the bosses. Similar to what Ridley did in Smash 4, maybe. I think it'd be a good idea. The map that we've got going on over here with the sun and everything, I think it was a map. Could burn people too, right? Could be a launch thing. that you get smacked into. Anyway, the point is, I think there's enough here for a Smash Brothers stage, and not just a Smash Brothers stage, but a solid Smash Brothers stage. And I would love to see Metroid get more love, and particularly Metroid Dread get a little representation in Smash Brothers. Here we are with another Bandai Namco related title. Well, this one's just directly their game, but in Smash Brothers, a Bandai Namco title, and even more specifically, we have another specifically to go with the Bandai Namco related game in Smash Brothers. Moonlit Wilderness is the coolest Tekken stage ever. I don't think it'll ever be topped. It's such a mood, such a vibe. Your characters have so much aura just sitting there, posting on the moonlight while they're beating each other's butts. It's really, really, really great. However, I am once again wondering about obstacles and how that sort of thing would work. Maybe they could get launched from the Tekken 5 version into the Tekken Tag 2 version, which is inside of the castle. I don't know. I don't really like the inside of the castle part. I really like the outside in the Field of Flowers, though. So maybe it's just an obstacle-less stage. Maybe it's like a Final Destination thing, and it's just a flat, nice, pretty stage from the get-go. I guess you could put the tree in as an obstacle. Maybe it's on the side and you can climb up the branches or they can get knocked off or something. I don't know. This is another stage where it's just perfect for Tekken characters to appear in the back. Maybe they're fighting in the back. You get a cool animation of like Jin and Harong fighting each other all the way in the back or something. I don't know. To be fair, if Tekken was to come back into Smash, Jin would probably be the next character. So maybe not Jin. Maybe I don't know, they're buddies. Maybe Paul and Law are fighting each other in the back, just having a little spar. I don't know. Are there any specifically English characters? I I don't. Oh, Steve? No, isn't he Australian? I think he's Australian. I don't know of any particularly, especially like English or British characters, and I'm only saying English or British because this castle looks very medieval European, and so I assume this is somewhere out in Europe. To put there, somebody that just lives in the area to go naturally with the environment, and if we can't do that, I don't know. Just some famous Tekken people in the back. Line up some people. Yoshimitsu, there we go. Yoshimitsu's like a Namco mascot anyway. He shows up in a whole bunch of stuff. So put Yoshimitsu in there in the back. Maybe he's fighting Raven. Oh, that'd be awesome. See, they got cool ninja powers and stuff. So that's perfect. Yeah, put them in the back. Something like that. Anyway, what do you think? Okay, my number two choice is Central Highway from Mega Man X. If you're from the old days of YouTube and you know about Ego Raptor, then slash Aaron Hansen, for those of us who have not been since then, but maybe Game Grumps fans, then you know about this level. You know why people like this level. If you don't, just for a very brief, I'm not turning this into a video essay, but just for a very brief description, this level's a masterclass in just letting you learn mechanics by playing the game. There are very few platformers that have intuitive level ones like this one, and it's just got a lot of really neat enemies and cinematic venues in the level. Let you see stuff like bridges collapsing and stuff. It's so great. And for Smash Brothers, it's got a fun boss that they could throw in, like Ridley, like Dracula, all those people. In Vile, in his big mech, Vile slash Vava or Baba, I guess, over in Japan. And you could fight him in his mech. He's got nice attack patterns already ready. If they really wanted to go crazy, they could have the mech blow up and Vile could jump out and you could fight Vile too, right? The regular enemies are perfect obstacles. The pieces of the stage falling apart, all the different highway pieces and stuff are great for obstacles too. They could start you at the main level with the highway and then take you down and back up. There's just so much they could do with it. What do you think? So my last level choice is Metallic Madness Zone from Sonic CD, and I chose this one for many reasons. There's enemies that you can put in. There's fun obstacles with the different transporters and pieces of equipment. It's got a nice vibe with the Mad Laboratory situation. I don't think we have any levels like that. You could put Metal Sonic or some of the, like I said, some of the Badniks in. You could even do the new Super Mario Brothers 2 situation where you could have the characters collect rings, and then if they get hit by the Badniks, they lose their rings, like Sonic does. There's a lot of fun stuff you could do to make this level really work. My big thing personally, I want to see Robotnik get up on stage in this level and just start dropping bars, just spitting fire from a little podium in the middle of the level, like he actually does in Sonic CD. I think that would just be so funny, right? Like, I personally want him in Smash Brothers, but even if he's not a playable character, just to have him step out on stage and do just that and leave would be great. Especially for non-Sonic fans, they would be very confused, and I really think that kind of thing is perfect for the environment that Smash Brothers is going for. The kind of vibe that they like. Number one and number two on our list don't have a lot to be said about them, simply because they're well, I consider them to be basically the full package. Everything's already there for you. So I don't really know that there's much to be said about either of them compared to the earlier entries. So I hope you're not disappointed by the brevity of these last two. There's just not much else to say, really. I just had to share this very quickly. It's from Dryad Mantis. I saw it on Reddit. All credit goes to them. This absolutely killed me. It's just a little meme about Robotnik dropping bars. But seriously, I'd love to see it in Super Smash Brothers. I think it'd be great. This little idea of his beard being on fire like it is, like Sanji's feet. It's just so funny. It got me. So again, all credit to Dryad Mantis. Wanted to share it with other people. Thanks again. With that out of the way, thank you so much for your time. What did you all think? Did you like my list? Do you have a better idea? Did you see it and you went, man, that list sucks? If you do, please put your own below. I'd love to hear what you all think. Smash Brothers is moving through the air right now. People are just really, really, really getting excited for the prospect of a new one, and I think it's time for more conversations revolving around that to be had. So look forward to that on my channel. If you enjoyed this and you want to hear more, feel free to subscribe. I'm building something. It's not exactly the largest networking community on the planet or anything like that, but I'm trying to make a channel where people can come and talk and feel safe and just nerd out about things. So if that's the kind of vibe you're looking for, I hope you'll give some more of my videos a watch. I do have another one about the top 10 Smash characters I'd like to see. If that interests you, please go take a look. I think you'll enjoy the list. Very quickly, before I close everything down, I do need to mention I don't own Smash Brothers, I don't own Nintendo, I don't own any of the video games companies, games, or series mentioned in this video or featured in Super Smash Brothers. I don't own any of it. This is all fair use. All right goes to the respective owners of those brands. With all that out of the way, thank you so much for your time. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Game!